It's Josh with the Clarity Cafe. What's happening here to answer any questions you may have. So Clarity Cafe every Sunday is really about getting clarity. So if you are not um, feeling aligned, you're not getting the what's the word I want to say? You're not getting clarity. Literally, that's what it is. Getting direction, focus, getting your true cosmic north on what's going on, how to really shorten the distance. That's what I love doing when I work with clients. So, if you see that in the description below, if you have a question, if you want to book a session, you can do that. But that's really what this live is about. It is about answering questions, getting ready for the days ahead. I don't like to say week ahead because that's like week, WEAK. You're right. There's a lot of issues going on um, with the words, the language that we use, or I like to call it language, right? So if you have any questions at all, drop them here. Let me know in the chat, and we can pick up from there. I hope your previous few days and things you're getting more clarity, focus, and direction on what it is you desire. If it's to just improve yourself overall. Inner reflection for outer direction, as I like to say, that's really where things begin to shift. And I find that makes the hugest difference because otherwise I'm doing everything extraneously. I'm trying to I'm reading this book, I'm watching this podcast, listening to this, live stream or whatever the case may be. And trying to figure this out. We're so bombarded with so much coming at us from social media, from, the hippest, slickest, coolest, newest thing with AI. I mean, it's here today, gone later today, right? It's there's just new things coming in all the time. And I propose we go just chillax for like a few moments, right? To get on the no stress express. If you want to get off the pain train, you want to divert off the pain train, that's really where this happens. You get off the pain train, you get on the no stress express, and you just get clarity. And that's what I'm able to do when I work with people. I just look at different people and, ask your question. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And that's where the shifts happen. And a lot of people are, really making a lot of changes and the shifts. And that's really where things, can really take an upshift and change. But most people are just on this trajectory where they're just not making that shift. They're not doing things that are taking hold, that are helping them out. So if that's something you want to make a shift in, then let me know. If you have a question, a life change that you're looking to make, guidance, mentorship. I do offer that one-on-one, but here today, that's what this clarity call is all about. So if you have serious questions on guidance, direction, things you want to make shifts in, if things haven't been working, a plan you're doing that you haven't really taken the initiative to follow through on, because look, everyone wants instant gratification. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. All right. What up? What's happening? So yeah, I'm blowing up. All right. So if anybody's got any questions, something you're locked in on, you can't figure it out, you need clarity, let me know, That's really what it's all about, So many people are like looking in so many directions. They're looking horizontally and not vertically. And I think that's really where things can make a huge shift and change. So if that's you, drop your question below if you need some clarity. As an intuitive medium, that's what I like to offer. Here on this platform, we're just doing quick little insights, getting some awareness. So something you're stuck on, I don't know, you name it. It's the usual typical, it's money, relationships, but I kind of look in between those things. So that's where I'm coming from. So if that's something you're interested in, great. If not, keep scrolling. So that that's what we're here by, to make these shifts and changes. And a lot of people are afraid to do it. They don't want to take the action. They don't want to take the steps. And there are those that, you know, separate the men from the boys, the girls from the ladies. If you want to put on the big boy pants and you want to do that dance, then that's really where you can see some major advance. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It really doesn't. It's not about that. It's really about making subtle little adjustments, and that's what I keep talking about. If you are willing to make those adjustments and changes, I'm telling you, things will shift for you. And the best thing I can say when I work with clients is just have no expectations. I know that sounds counterintuitive, like, oh, I need to set a goal, I need to have an expectation of something. Why? Because to me, that's a container. You box yourself in, you're putting in a box, and you don't need to do that, right? So, literally, when I work with someone, each person's different. Like, we'll get on a call or we'll do things video, face to face. And depending on what's going on, I can typically zoom in on where the blockage is and maybe some action steps. And they can be very small, minute little packages or steps that you can take where you never know. There could be like one little blockage that's holding things up. It's like a dam. And all of a sudden you just move one little thing and all of a sudden it opens things up. So if that's you, if that's something you're interested in, or you want to make a change, you're ready to make a change, drop a comment below, let me know. Share this video if you think anybody else that could use the help, could use the guidance. I'm trying to get the message out to other people. Sharing is caring, as they say. And yeah, so what's going on? How's your day or evening going? Let me know in the comments what's happening. Where are you calling from? Are you on planet? Are you off planet? What's happening on this unique Sunday, fun day? Anybody have anything going on? Interesting? Want to share? Some unique insights, something you discovered, something you want to talk about, something you want to get off your chest, something that's been blocking you. You can't figure it out. You're like, what the fuck, bro? Right? Come on, bro. Bro. You know, what's happening? Um, no, I'll answer this guy. No WW3, no SmackDown happening. Smoke and mirrors, my friend, smoke and mirrors. There's much bigger things going on that are happening. But yeah, that's been talking to a lot of people lately, and it seems everyone's just kind of distracted with all of these events, and they're designed to distract you, right? Because distraction is the attraction. That's what happens. Oh, look over here. There's this thing happening. Look over there, man. There's this thing happening, right? Lowers your frequency. When your frequency lowers, your lunch meat. Yeah, you're just ripe for, plucking, right? So my thing is raise the frequency, raise the dopamine levels. That's really what this is all about. And when you have this awareness, I'm telling you, just the wildest things happen, wild in a good way. I don't even want to label it good or bad, right? Because we're in polarity anyway, up, down, black, white, good, right, left, right, wrong. It's just an experience. And that's what I say with everybody that, clients that I work with. It's an experience, you know. And that's what life is about, right? It's all these interesting, amazing experiences we have. And what I invite you to do, it's what I love doing, is getting out in nature, one way or the other. Connect with nature. Because when you do that, the whole frequency modulation changes. And by that, I mean, like when we're in front of these things, these glass, computers, tablets, TVs, all these devices, and they are vices. But when you get outside, no matter where you live, I know if you live in the coldest climates, the hottest climates, getting outside and getting into nature can really shift your perspective. And some people get so locked in the thoughts that they think you think your thoughts are your own. Come on, they're not even in your head, man. They're not. They're you know they're coming from the field out there. And if there's questions you have regarding that, let me know. I'm happy to answer those questions. Come on, throw something out there. Don't be shy. Really. I know I know you have a question. Is your life perfect? Everything going easy peasy, lemon squeezy, no problems, right? Yeah? Let me know. Drop a comment. Is everything great? On a scale of 1 to 10, drop a number. 1 to 10. 5, right? Latoy Wiggins. Hey, Latoy Wiggins. Hi, hi. How are you? Anything going on? Clarity Cafe. That's what this is about. Getting clarity for the days ahead. Let's get focused, aligned. Let's get rid of blockages. Yeah, that's what this is about. Every Sunday, I'm here to answer your questions, provide some guidance, some insight, um, and help you navigate your true north, right? That's what I feel it's all about because people want to move on in their lives. They don't want to be stuck in the same old, or maybe some people do, you know? Some people do, some people don't. So, I am here. This is what my passion, my love is to help you out to really share some insight. I've had mentors throughout my life. I still do, friends, um, life experiences. Mentorship isn't always just a friend. It could be nature. Nature can be your mentor. You go out, you get, direct cognition. You feel something, you sense something, you see something, you hear something. I'm a medium, so I see, hear, feel, sense, and sometimes smell, spirit. So these are called clair abilities: claircognizant, clairvoyant, clair, cognizant, voyant, clairsentient, um, clairgustinant, and you have these abilities too. They may be very, they may be very subdued at the moment, but you can activate them. And based on the incoming frequencies that are happening planetarily right now, uh, there's no doubt. And if you're anywhere on social media, or if you're into metaphysics or just spirituality, depending on where you are, what your trajectory is, you'll come across these things. That's cool. Right on. Bella mia. Bella mia. Beautiful. Yeah, everything is developed over a period of time. A lot of people come in with these abilities, capabilities, talents, skills, and gifts when they're born. And then they get activated at certain points in time in your life. I've taken no formal classes. There's very few books and things that I read, and it's really, that's what intuition is, right? Intuition is using your feelings and emotions to guide you. And most people use logic and intellect. I think there's an important point to use discernment, and I incorporate something like human design. If you're familiar with human design, I'm a projector. I've been in my deconditioning process for probably the better half of the last 3 years, and it's just one sort of tool that I use, right? Um, Oh, let's see. Miss Tori, I got a large oval mirror. It fell and was rolling on the floor. It's all been uphill since then. Okay. I don't know what that means. Yeah, mirrors are interdimensional, so you got to be careful with mirrors. You have to seal mirrors. Um, but yeah. And so when you start tuning in with your intuition and, different subtleties, you will find that you can communicate with anything because it's all energy. And energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's perpetual and eternal and just changes form, right? And the only thing that's constant on this planet is change, right? This isn't rocket science. But there are certain things that, you know, I use mirror on mirror and speak my truth. I'm not sure what that means. Mirror on mirror? Don't know what you mean by that. Eternal, exactly. We are eternal, not immortal, eternal. The angelic human genome is eternal. And again, everything I'm sharing with you, this is not for this is not medical advice. This is just my own life experience. Um, Things that I know that I share. You can take it for what it's worth, or you can chuck it. you know, don't believe a word I say, as a lot of people say. I think the power. The healer is in the mirror. That's what I say. I'm not a healer. I'm not a guru. I'm not here to fix you. Um, I get you. Reflection into reflection, like a long hallway mirror of doors. Yeah, you know, it's a house within the room of many mansions. Um, and I think it's great. Whatever works for you um, is appropriate. And when I work with people one on one, we get into energetic hygiene. I don't hear a lot of people when I've perused like psychics and stuff like that, and I've gone on to like YouTube, not here, but over all Instagram, and they've got tarot cards, they've got dowsing, they've got all these different things, right? And all these tools, lights, smoke and mirrors is what I call it. And I'm not saying these people are bad; they do, but there's got to be some energetic hygiene. You know, there has to be energetic, just like you brush your teeth, you wash yourself, you take care of yourself. Hopefully, there's energetic hygiene. What do you do to amplify, protect your fields and shields? Do you know they exist? Right? These are things I've learned. I've come to know these things. And then once you hit a certain level, there's like a frequency accretion. Once you get to a certain level, you begin to get, it's like a capacitor. You get um getting him through. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Um, when people cross over, when things, just to share this, Miss Tori, I came across this body of work called the Freedom Teachings many years ago, about 20 years ago. And this is back in Los Angeles, California. And I started doing these activations because I had gone, like, I grew up in LA and I used to go to the Bodhi Tree bookstore. Great fucking place. I loved it because it was like, and I just felt like I would just be drawn to certain books and things, right? And one of the things that I started doing once things activated was I lived in Santa Monica. So I remember one day, like everything just went on like a light switch. This is back in 98, 99, I think, if I recall correctly. And there was I was driving to this beach where I typically go, and there was a rope that was like caution, and there were helicopters flying over. There were some sheriffs over there. And what I discovered when I got there, I walked along the beach, and all of a sudden, I could see the Cessna plane on the shore, right? And there was a plane crash. So there's a technique that I do. They're called singing songs, PSONN. Okay. So it's an energetic song. When you sing, you create a harmonic template. Okay. So here's the thing, I did this, and, I sang this particular song, and all of a sudden, in my, what I call my mentor space on my right side, literally, like, it's like a hear feel. Heard a woman's, like, it was almost a man and a woman were talking, like, "Oh, thank you for like hosting us." My logical mind couldn't put together what was happening. I was just allowing it to happen. Okay. And um, they were saying, "Thank you. We were able to make the host or whatever." And there was a lot of stuff I was still learning, but what ended up happening was I went back through and and I went through Jamie, what's up? And I went through uh I went to turn on excuse me, went to turn on the radio, and lo and behold, I heard this radio recently. There was a plane crash off of that happened earlier that day. It's from Santa Monica Airport taking off over Santa Monica, getting ready. It was called Project Angel Flight, and they were getting ready to head to San Diego to do a donation, an organ donation. And they had mechanical failure, and the plane crashed. And they said in the news, a man, a husband and a wife, crossed over. So when I got that cognition prior to hearing the news, that was like a big aha. So the reason I'm sharing that with you, Miss Tori, was that when people cross over, it's not the end, as you may or may not know, depending on the circumstances and what is happening, right? So typically, depending on a lot of people get lost. They get in what are called hibernation zones. So they've crossed over, but they don't know where to go or what's going on. And there are collectives that do come in. There's like a 3-day holding period. Again, this is something I've learned that I know, right? I'm not making this. This is flat out. You can believe this, take this, don't believe it at all. But there's another level. We cross over, we drop the physical body, the soul, the spirit, because you have different levels of who you are. You have the incarnate, the soul, the oversoul, the avatar, the rishi, okay, in a 15-dimensional stack. In every stack, for every harmonic universe, there's 3 dimensions. So there's a 15-dimensional stack. That's what I understand or understand. That's how I recognize it. But there's a lot more to this. But this body of work and stuff that I've been doing since, I don't know, in my 30s. So really made that's where things activated. So, and what I help here is just getting clarity. So that's what I love to do. I'm summing this all up, but that's um, really where people can make changes. So with my current level of skill set, I'm always looking to adjust, acclimate, unlearn things, right? And always do a checkup from the neck up, right? The ego isn't always the amigo. Um, can't be easily explained. Yeah, I mean, it can and it can. It just depends on. You can explain something, just pretend it. It depends on someone's understanding of something. It's like I can go to China and everyone's speaking Japanese, but if I don't understand the language, they could be saying the simplest things to me until I really understand the language, then I kind of know what's going on. Does that make sense? Let me know. And if you guys have any questions regarding that, um, life stuff or ones that have crossed over, uh, I can, if someone, I don't, here's the thing, I don't force anything. And doing this kind of interaction, because typically I work with people one on one, right? Not so much a big audience, but I wanted to come on here and I may go on TikTok at some point to go live. But my preference is doing one on one because we can contain the energy, we harness the energy, and we create a pod, like an energetic bubble. So things are more sealed. Um, and I don't channel, I channel myself, my own higher gestalt of consciousness, right? That's kind of the way that I work. Um, I have visitations often. Visitations from your spouse? Is that what you're saying? Let me know. And if that's what you're saying, so your husband, often, spouse and others. Okay. Yeah, I mean, people come through, but the whole idea, is that everyone needs to move on, and I get it. A lot of people, by us having, it's like when I've worked with animals. See, animals don't have the same attachment to this system. They are here to just mirror literally unconditional love. um, and they have a different perception of things. They don't hold on to the body the same way that we do, um, because a lot of times when you're in this density, the ego and the emotional body keep us here. Um, and it's the same thing with like burying bodies. Burying body. That's not something that's a natural thing. Like usually cremation, so you're able to free up the energy, so you're not bound and attached to this reality system. Um, that there's a whole bunch of energetic stuff that's contained in that. But when someone crosses over, whether through the evolutionary process or a sudden traumatic incident, um, there are I don't like to say angels because that's kind of a woo, not a woo term, but it's like the word angels are actually arcs and angles. And angels are usually disguised as ETs as well. Maybe that aligns with you, doesn't align with you. That's been my experience. Um, when I look at certain people and I've seen certain things, it's through my filters, through what I've experienced, but I'm not skeptical. I cut to the core with things. Um, and like when working with people, sometimes I'll hear things, sometimes I go remote. Like I will do by location. So I could be sitting here talking to you, and all of a sudden in my field of vision, I, you know, see something that's going on from a certain timeline. I can look at that timeline and pull information, and then I will always run it by you to quantify or clarify that if that makes sense or doesn't make sense, right? So the thing is non-attachment. It's engaged detachment, meaning like we can observe something and look at something, but don't give it meaning. Because a lot of people like to give meaning making. I try not to do that as well. We just keep everything in the flow. So if you have any questions, anybody out there have any questions, this is the Clarity Cafe. And that's what I created this for, is like a community for those that have questions or that are interested to go deeper, dive deeper into utilizing, accessing your own gifts, talents, skills, whatever that may be, intuition, mediumship, psychic abilities, telepathy. These are all natural skills. And there are frequencies that we are encountering on the planet right now that are offering an enhancement for that to be activated. And I've worked with a lot of clients that have had, they grew up in very religious, dogmatic households, and they have this structure. When I look at it, it's like crystallized, it's cemented in their field, and it's very challenging for them to break out of it. Um, because they've been programmed so deeply. I know religion can be a touchy subject for people, but I'm pretty straight up about it. I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form. We are spirit beings first and foremost, and it's literally it's science and spirituality where they can dovetail and dance very beautifully and create expansion and growth and awareness and ultimately joy and the ultimate freedom, right? There you go. Bella mia. And, there's just, I think, right now it's like to me, I say this like kind of sarcastically, but it's like changing seats on the Titanic, but we're not. I mean, the planet isn't the Titanic. The planet isn't even, the planet's a broadcasting station. I love all these new agers. Oh, she, Gaia, the this. I'm like, it's a living being. It's a broadcasting planet, and there's billions of systems. We are not alone and have not been, and there are billions of races. And this particular location in the Cosmea, because there's multiverses. There's cosmos, cosmeas, cosminas. There's a lot, and there is. Hey, happy day. And so these are some interesting times. We've all agreed to come here and assist with our own unique abilities, talents, skills, and gifts. And we all have a contribution to make. And instead of a handout, a hand up, right? Let's help raise the dopamine, the consciousness. Um, and it's that time. It's that time to really, that's why I'm here, to help you out. I almost got lost. I subscribed. Awesome. Thank you so much. Sharing is caring. And also, you'll see in the description below, I think, I have a school group, SKOOL, school community. I'm still working on that, but you can join there. There's questions. I have a little screener there, so I don't want marketers or trolls, people that are really serious, right? Separate the men from the boys, the girls from the ladies, the people that are on that trajectory that are looking to really make a shift and a change. Not to just shoot the shit and BS. I mean, but just to be proactive and really make the effort, and that's what I'm here to do, is to hold space with you and kind of open the path with you, right? I like to basically, the things unseen and the spaces in between. That's what I focus on. Huh. Wow. I'm honored. People subscribe, people come and go. There's bots on here. I mean, whatever. I mean, if my message gets out to one person, cool. I'm not here to like get millions of views. It's not what that's not what it's here. It's just a community, a space to reach out to those that are, I'm putting out the clarion call. I'm putting out that beacon. So, if that's something that aligns with you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. You know, we don't have to agree. Um, and that's it. We can agree to disagree. We can do it diplomatically, and doesn't have to be I'm right, you're wrong. And that's what I see a lot. Like that's why I created a school community. School's great, no censorship, no advertising. You can go on there. You can, as long as you're not trying to hurt yourself or somebody else, right? Cool place to be. It's a great community. I upload videos, PDFs, documents. I'm going to be putting together some cool curriculum, and I also promote, specific, because I've been in the health and wellness world for over 30 years. So that's the thing. I put everything together here. I've got the community, because it's all intertwined. When we talk about health and wellness, do you think it's just physical? I mean, I'm curious. What are your thoughts? What do you guys think? Where is everybody? Where are you guys from? What state? Where are you tuning in from? Let me know if you feel like it. Yeah? Yep. It's all intertwined. You bet it is. It's all intertwined and it's all kind of mixed up too. Ah, Colorado. Nice. I used to ski in Colorado when I was a kid. New York. All right, New York in the house. Yeah. Welcome, Boris. So, whoops. That's cool. I'm in Florida. Denmark. Woohoo! I love it. We got an international community. I don't know what to say in Denmark. How do you say greetings in Danish? Is it Danish, right? Um, but welcome. I'm glad you're here. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. That's really, this is Norwegian. All right. Norwegian. I love it. Yeah, I'd love to visit Norway, Denmark, Iceland. Would love to check that out. Traveling now is kind of a, I don't know. I'm not big into traveling so much with all the crap going on currently on the planet. But yeah, if you guys have questions or I don't know, interactions, want to offer some insights. But the whole premise here of the Clarity Cafe is that I offer mini little readings or insights, awareness to things that may be going on. Could be anything you want to talk about. I primarily focus on health and wellness, expansion, but feel free if something's on your mind, got a burning question, just want some clarity or insight. If you want to book a session, you can do that. I think I dropped the link below in the description. I do sessions, I do annual, I take on a couple of people during the year for mentorship. And that's fun because that is, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Sylvia. Sylvia, did I say it right? So it's great. It's great to have an interactive community here, and I'm hoping to create something more. So feel free if you know of other people that are into this, that are just expansion, because it gets kind of like you go on other pages. If you guys have gone on to other pages, there's all different types, and I think to me, what it's really about, it's not quantity, and it's not even about quality. It's like my vibe, my tribe. That's cool. Bella, wonderful. Mentorship is great. We all need mentors. I mean, I've had mentors throughout my life. And like I said, mentors are not just people, they are experiences. Mentors to me are a tree, a pine. I've got beautiful pine trees when I go for a walk. I sit and I ask them if I can partake with them. I talk to the land whenever I go to the ocean, right? To the beach, you know, authentic. Yes, it's all about authenticity. Um, I talk to the ocean, to the water, right? Everything's energy, everything is alive. We just need to sync up with that vibe without forcing. One of the things that I've learned, many things I've learned that I'd love to share with you is that in this body of work that I come across, right? I don't put anything on a pedestal, right? But it's like it's called Keylontic science. It's the science of light, sound, symbol codes, and the base codes of matter. And uh, the thing is that when we sit with nature and we when we tune in, we dial in. It's like a radio. It's like a cosmic radio, right? You're just tuning into that right broadcast where you are able to. I gotta get some light in here. Hang on a sec. Ugh. Let's get the sun's beginning to set, or maybe I get my thing. Um, so when we sit there, it's almost like we balance out our frequency so that we can communicate. And I know when the ocean, trees, everything's talking about, it's this transduction process that's happening. So the tree, the bird, the animal is communicating based on these pathways that are, it's like this aperture that you have open, right? And you have it. You may not, it may be dormant. You may go, no, I've tried this. You've got it. You've got it. There's just different things. I'm going to put something together soon in the school group where just some guidance on how to activate these things, practicing these things. Telekinesis, maybe, you see this. There's just a lot of people doing this right now. And I think for me, what's foundational is you have to have spiritual and energetic hygiene. There's a lot going on, right? There's a tremendous amount. And I used to go to channeling seminars, right? There's conscious, trance, and out of body. There's three types. Like if you've ever seen Bashar, right? That's one of the more popular ones that's out there. He's on everything. So that's Daryl Anka. That is a musician from the 60s, 70s, Paul Anka's brother. And he channels an extraterrestrial named Bashar, called Bashar. And so what Bashar has done with Daryl is done a lot of work with his energetic body in order to host this gestalt of consciousness that merges with his. But ultimately, okay, the power and the um the power and the ability to really have your own vertical connection with source, right, is through a sealed channel. That's you. No other entity or being trying to come in, right? Because I've seen so many channels, and there's a seduction. Oh, I'm hearing voices. Oh, it's saying this. Oh, I'm great, right? And they're usually disincarnate for the most part. A lot of these channels are disincarnate entities that come in and they merge. And I know this all sounds woo, maybe woo to you. I don't know where your level or your awareness of this is, but it blends. And that's what happened with Jane Roberts. If you've ever heard of Seth Speaks or Seth, Jane Roberts, this is back in the 60s. She's from New York. And she was one person, but the being that she channeled, I have to say, Seth, was pretty phenomenal. Like a lot of Seth's material was, I'd have to say, pretty spot on. And I don't say that a lot, like not even a handful. There's a lot of information, but the best thing you can do if you are searching for answers, for guidance, is to literally, and not dousing, because these things can also be influenced externally, is just through your own vessel. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. That's above and beyond everything. You are the source. You are source, right? And so when you accept that, recognize that, utilize that, you're not giving away your power. You're not opening up your fields to be influenced, right? I'm sure many of you can be around a group of people or a person, depending on if you're empathic or not. Um, and all of a sudden you just feel like, oh my God, feel like the freaking life force got sucked out of you, right? Does that ever happen to you? Let me know. I'm just going on, guys. I can talk about this for days, but I want to get some interaction. Anybody have any questions, thoughts on any of this? You'll see I dot connect. I kind of go all over, kind of what's coming through the ethers right now. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'm a bit of a Valkyrie type working with Odin. Ooh, okay. How not to absorb. Okay, so can you elaborate a little bit, Miss Tori, on that with Odin? Working with Odin. So is Odin a being? I'm not too terribly familiar with that. And Bella, as an empath, we learn how, yeah, I mean, you have to learn where to draw the line. And I know in the body of work, like Santa. Okay. Working with Santa. Okay. So I'm a bit of a Valkyrie type. So I'm not familiar with those. So if you can clarify that even more, then I have a better idea of what you're really saying, Miss Tori. Um, Valkyrie type. I'm thinking Valkyrie type. What is a Valkyrie type? Like a um I'm not sure. I don't know that. That's a new one on me. Um oh, with a deity. Okay. Why are you working with a deity? That's my question. What benefit does a deity provide? And I know in India, a lot of people, they pray to deities. My thing is you have to reclaim your own energy, right? Um, is a sun goddess that sprinkles a bit of coals down everyone's chimney. Okay. That sounds interesting. But I'm all about self-reliance, me as source. No deities, no gurus, no other beings to come in unless they are part of my own family constellation. And if they are, like people will talk about ascended masters. I kind of refer to them as descended masters. Um, Depending on the family lineage that they come from, what their agenda is, what their dossier is, there's a lot of things that are not talked about. And so I tend to shy away from them. But if that's something that resonates for you, um, um, yeah, yeah, we are source. That's it. We are source. There is no separation. And that's the whole game in 325 AD, when the Council of Nicaea. Um, okay, I'll have to check that out. But I just, I think that it's really about you making your own connection with source as source. Uh, and when we heal, we are able to understand, help, ascending. I appreciate your work. Thank you. Thanks. I'm glad I can help. Everybody, I think we all just kind of salt and pepper, right? We kind of sprinkle things, we take what works, we, don't. The thing I've learned is I try not to make one thing like staccato. This is it. There's nothing else. Can't be this way. I've learned that's a limitation, and it's very humbling at the same time. Even the whole ascension thing. I mean, the ascension, what is ascension? And now we're on this, Easter holiday. And if you look at what Easter really is, yeah, if you want to incorporate them all, that's great, Um, it's about, fertility, Ishtar. But these stories, especially in America, I mean, it's just laughable because it's all these Hallmark holidays. It's like I tend to get a bit jaded with it, so I don't follow it. It's not my thing. If it's your thing, that's great. More power to you. Um, I always ask people to go deeper. Look at what things are. I mean, everything on this planet to me pretty much is distorted. People will look at the nature, right? They'll call it the Fibonacci spiral, and in my circles we call it the fib of no chi because it's a vampiric system. And a lot of things you see in nature are not, every planet, okay, there's usually two suns in every system, and we have no coronosphere. The moon is not, the moon is not even a planet, it's static. it's a ship. You know, it's you know, there's chronospheres, there's just so much that's not, if we knew everything, we'd probably not want to be here, but we're here to, um, raise the frequency planetarily and guide and support others. And there's been so many mission upgrades that are happening here on so many levels. Um, and it's always changing. I studied origin of everything. Okay. Then there's nothing more to study, is there? I don't know. You know, I'm always not so much studying, I'm just tuning in, because things that are written books, yeah, a lot of it's pretty much twisted, right? Because when someone's pulling in information, there can be distortions, there can be a lot of distortions that are added to it that most people don't see or feel or sense. So, you know, let me know. Anybody else have any inquiries, questions, blockages? A lot of people get blockages too, energy blockages, and um, it all leads to source. Yeah, everything leads to source. And in this reality film, cool. Timelines and event horizons are always changing. I've done remote viewing, been doing that on and off for quite a while. Trajectories are always, I mean, there's so much in flux right now. There's like a lot of different things that are happening. So I just kind of I'm in observer mode, you know? And I work with a vertical family of consciousness. And yeah, it's always changing. I may think one thing today and may change tomorrow, right? May contradict myself. So that's the beautiful thing about change. It's the only thing that's constant. And on this planet, it's happening all the time, right? So, yep. Origin of everything. That's a pretty wide study, you know. Um, there's some books I've looked into over the years. Voyagers by Ashiana Dean. That's been pretty much, yeah, really messes with my heart, my head. That's the thing. Um, when you are a shadow self, I think the shadow self really is, what is it? When you can play metacognition, when you can actually look and ask yourself questions and recognize if there's field attachments on the shadow side. Shadow work, that's like a big buzzword now. I'm doing shadow work. I'm shadow this, I'm shadow that. Shadow work is tied to parallel earth, which is a fallen matrix. And we disengaged from that quite a long time ago. However, um, to me, the shadow work comes, my shadow is on the floor or the wall. Okay, so are you talking metaphorically or physically? Um, but shadow work in general is sort of your dark side. Everyone's got it. And, it just needs to be brought up and cleared. Typically, going out in nature, grounding, that pretty much does it. Depending on where you live and what your opportunities are, there are ways to do that for sure. Indeed. Let's see. We're almost at an hour here. That's great. Thank you guys for joining in, tuning in. We'll be doing this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, if you guys are interested in my school group, school community, check the link below. It should be there. There are some questions to get in, and just to kind of weed out marketers and trolls, right? So if that's something you're interested in, if this information is, you know, appealing to you, if you vibe with it, love to have you in the community. And share this if you know of other people that are struggling, that have no answers, no support team, no community where they can communicate and find out what's going on, or at least get some point of direction as to where to go, that's what I offer. And like I said, I do one-on-ones, and sometimes just quick information can really help guide, you know. And you're welcome, Bellamia. Healing, it's Berkshire for sure. So yeah. Anybody else have any other questions, comments? Let me know. We'll go for like another 10 minutes. But this has been great. I'm glad we're able to just kind of come together and just kind of open this up and see where this all flows and goes. So that is, let's see here. So need, not sure what you mean by the Berkshire for sure. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. What are you guys doing for the next few days ahead? I hate saying the week ahead. So anybody got big goals, big changes coming up? Things they're looking to get perspective on. Dreams of sand. Gym, eat, sleep. All right. Gym, eat, sleep. Sounds like a good method. Is like wearing a bear shirt. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's like having a rabbit's foot or something like that. Very cool. Right on. Well then, gym, eat, sleep. Not necessarily in that order. Yeah, the gym. I stopped going to a gym a long time ago. Nature. I live in the moment. All right. That's the way to be. Moment to moment is it. Perfect before summer for picking up cougars. Ah. All right. Whatever floats your boat. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. It's been great having you all here. I'll be back next Sunday. Same time, same channel. And yeah, wonderful. You guys have a great night and stay safe. Keep raising consciousness. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining.